How do? Welcome back. Just trying one of my Lutra lagers I made about a month or so ago now. It's tasting nice with age. Right, so I'm going to be brewing again this weekend. In fact, I'm brewing I think every weekend for the foreseeable. Just to get these recipes sorted for the book. This week I'm going to be brewing a Saison, and I've been doing a lot of reading about it. And basically, as we all know, a Saison is a farmhouse beer, and brewers just brewed with whatever they had, what was locally available to them. And so I thought, well, I've got lots of bits and pieces, why don't I just brew with what I've got? So basically that's going to be my main philosophy in this brew. Just use up things that you've got without having to go and buy very much. I have actually bought a couple of things though, and I'll explain those as I go through the recipe. So first of all, it's going to be just a 12 litre batch to test this recipe, and all the recipes I could see online, and unfortunately I was really hoping that someone had found a 200-year-old recipe in an old barn somewhere that a farmer had wrote down, and they published it online for us, but I couldn't. I bet there's one somewhere in a dusty archive in a Belgian library or something, but all the recipes that I looked at, or the majority, used Pilsen malt as the base. So I'm using extra light dry malt extract, and I've got a lot of this, so I don't need to buy any more. I'm going to use, well, if I was brewing a 23 litre batch, I'd only want this to be a table Saison, so maybe about 4%. I'll probably be using about 1.5 kilograms of this if it was going to be a 23 litre batch. So that's going to be the base malt, this extra light dry malt extract. But I also wanted to add a little bit of wheat. So that's one of the things I've had to buy. And if it was 23 litres, I'll give the weights as if it's 23 litres. So I'd be using all this 1 kilogram spray dried malt extract wheat. Now, I don't know what the proportions of wheat to malt are. I did ask the maltster, but he doesn't know because it's just a rebagged Muntons, and Muntons don't tell you. So I don't know what the proportion of wheat is in this, but I think I'm just assuming it's 50-50. So the whole kilogram would go in. Now, for specialty grains, I'm going to use up some of the rye. If you remember, I've made the rye beer, and so I'm going to add maybe about 250 grams of rye. I don't want it to be a rye beer, so I'm not adding a lot. Just a little bit, just to get some of that pepperiness, which I think will go well in a Saison. Some of that spiciness that the rye adds. So yeah, 250, no more than 300 grams I would use of the rye, so I don't have to buy any specialty grains. And then a little bit of carapils as well, just to, not too much, because it shouldn't be, it should be a very light beer, very easy drinking beer. And if you use too much carapils, it can add to the body and the mouthfeel, and probably take away from that lightness. But I just do want to add a little bit just to help with head retention. That said, I might as well just use some maltodextrin powder because I've got that as well. So for the hops, I'm going to use Northern Brewer as the bittering hop because I've got some, so I don't have to buy any hops. And I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to use. I'm not going to add any aroma or any flavour hop. Just keep it to the bittering addition, and just let it boil for half an hour. Do a half-hour boil, and then what I'm going to add, because I'm not using aroma and flavour hops, I'm going to add some of this, and it looks like I've just bought it, but I haven't. I've had this for ages, I think it was last year when I was thinking about making a Saison, and I never used it. It's brew firm. It's orange peel, dried orange peel. So 5 minutes before the end of the boil, I might just add like a tablespoon, 10 grams, something like that, of this. And again, looks like I bought it, but I haven't. I use these for my biltong. It's coriander, and I'm going to use, again, probably about the same amount. I'll crush them and put them in 5 minutes before the end of the boil as well. So I'm not using an aroma or flavour hop. These will add some of the flavour. And for the yeast, and this I had to buy, although after I bought it, I then found I had a Belle Saison yeast. But hey, it's another yeast. I haven't tried this before. It's Mangrove Jack's French Saison M29, which according to the label gives a beer spicy, fruity and peppery notes. So yeah, with this and with this and with the rye, I think this is going to be a nice spicy French Saison. So that's it. It's quite a simple brew actually, and I'll be brewing that on Sunday. Now in other news, just wait there a second, I'll just grab this. I bought myself some of these. What handy little jars, they're plastic. Because now I'm using all these different yeasts because of the recipes, I'm actually going to save them. I've decided I'm going to save all the yeast from the bottom of the fermenter. And these are great, they're really cheap. They're on Amazon. Plastic little jars. This is 250ml. I got 6 of them, and I've also got 6 500ml. And I've got the Nova Lager. I saved the Nova Lager and I put that in the fridge, but it's in like a big jam jar, and they take up a bit of space. So I'm going to transfer one to here. Well, transfer the Nova to here and put a label on so I know what it is. And then with the M29, with the Verdant IPA that I've got now, that's actually finished fermenting already. Everything will get placed into one of these jars, put them in the fridge, and I'll have this supply in a little while of all these different yeasts. And on the subject of yeast, the reason I got the 500 version, the 500ml version, is I'm gonna, in probably about a month from now, when it starts to warm up a little, I'm going to start making some wort and put these jars outside and see if I can capture some wild yeasts. That'll be nice. So yeah, these are handy, and I'm going to start saving all these yeasts because it's stupid, isn't it, throwing it away and then buying more yeast later. So I'm just going to keep them. And I've also found, I've got this idea going around in my head, because I use a lot of pale dry malt extract and it's not the cheapest. What I thought of doing is start buying it in bulk, like 100, and I think the ones I've seen, it's 30 kilograms and it's like 120 quid or something like that, so it works out a lot cheaper. And I found, again on Amazon, it was whilst I was actually looking for these little jars, a 50 litre food grade plastic container, and it's on wheels because it holds 50 litres. You don't want to be carrying that. And it's got an airtight lid like this one, so it's like a Tupperware with an airtight lid, and it's on wheels, and it comes with a scoop, quite a big scoop, comes with a scoop. And I thought, well, because I'm using this pale malt extract all the time, why don't I just buy 30 kilograms of the stuff, and it's like just one payment, and I can put it all in one of these big containers, and it'll be kept safe because it's nice and cool out here, but it's also got an airtight top. And then really, with 30 kilograms, I'll probably won't have to bother with buying the base malt for a year. If all I'm brewing is 12 litre batches, and I do like these 12 litre batches, they're really convenient. You know, I'm using about 1.5 kilograms per batch usually on average. Well, that's 20 brews. That's like a year's worth of brewing. So yeah, I just think it makes more sense, and it works out a lot cheaper than actually buying them in 1 kilogram bags and things like this. And then basically that means all I'm buying is the specialty grains if I need them, or some of, you know, some sort of specialty dry malt like the wheat or the Maris Otter with the Australian sparkling ale. And yeah, it's just a one-off payment. You just bang it in one of these big 50 litre Tupperware containers, and it's always there for you. So I thought that makes sense. So I'm probably getting that in a few weeks' time, and then I will have malt on hand whenever I want to brew. Even if I just want to make a simple, you know, smash beer, I've got all the malt. Okay, right, I'm going to go back and drinking this. So yeah, it's a brew day on Sunday. I will try and remember to film it this time. The brew after is going to be a golden ale, because my sister's asked if I can brew a golden ale. So I said I would do. So I'm going to start actually putting that recipe together, and then there'll be next weekend's brew day. Maybe it's going to be every weekend. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.